It's the new year, you've taken up running. I've got some wicked tips for you. Right guys, first tip is to invest in a decent pair of running shoes. Get yourself down to your running store, get on the old treadmill, get them to tell you which is the best pair for you, and don't scrimp and scrape on the old trainers because they're the most important thing you can buy. Second tip is go for time, not distance. It's more important when you're starting out running to work on the amount of time you're on your feet and not worrying about doing 5Ks and 3Ks or 10Ks or whatever it is. It's all about starting slow, starting gradually, build up to those sort of longer distances, but just think about doing 5 or 10 minutes, just a little bit of running, and don't be afraid to walk. It's important that you don't go out there and run every day when you're new to running. It's the worst thing you could do because you're only going to get injured and you're going to get fed up with running. So it really is important to factor in rest days. Have a couple of days off, do a bit more running, walking, and then have another couple of days off, do a bit more running, walking. Just build into it nice and slow. There's no rush. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Next tip is to join a running group. You will be surprised how awesome joining a running group is. I know it's more about money and stuff like that, but really the support you will get from joining a running group is just unbelievable. So find out where your local one is and get down there and join up. Next tip is make running a habit, and what I mean by that is sort of factor it into your life. So whether you're going out on a Saturday and doing, like I say, 5K or 5 whatever jog or a half-hour jog, going back to my point about running for time, just try and factor it into your life. But set some time aside for this new thing, this new pursuit that you're going to be taking on. The worst thing you could do is say, I'm going to start running, and then you never factor it in, or you sort of start making excuses because you're busy, this is on TV, you've got to do this, take the kids here, do that. Factor in some time to start running and make it a habit, because if you do that, it will become easier for you. Next tip is don't worry about if you're walking, right? I see a lot of people online saying, oh yeah, but I had to walk and all this. So what, who cares? Like I said in the other tip, it's all about time on your feet to start with, right? And it's really a good idea actually, because it builds your strength, it builds your endurance. If you're doing a little bit of running and walking, it'll really start building you up nice and easy, nice and gradually, and it'll sort of bed you in for when you start really doing those sort of, not longer distances, but more running, more time running. So yeah, don't be ashamed, don't be put off. We all walk. I mean, I walked London Marathon 2018. I walked some of that. So who cares, right? Just don't be shy and factor it into your training and make an element of your training. I say, walking is nothing to be ashamed of. I see people saying, yeah, but I have to walk, but it doesn't really matter. Actually, I think it's a good thing. Next tip for you new runners is keep a running log. If you've watched any of my videos, hopefully you've seen that I keep actually a running journal on YouTube. Keeping a running journal is awesome, and it keeps you accountable for what you're doing. You can see what you've got to do, whether you've got to run half hour that night, whether you've got to run 25 minutes that night, whether you want to do a bit of hills that night. And then you can tick it off, and then at the end of the week you can look at it and go, right, I did all that, and it's awesome. It makes you feel great, and then you know what you're doing next week. It really is a cool idea to get a running journal. Right, next tip for you new runners is try and do some cross training. It's so awesome that you're taking up running and you want to get fit. That is amazing, so well done you. But maybe try and factor in a bit of gym work. Now, I hate the gym, right? I mean, I really hate the gym, but if I'm doing any sort of like proper training, like marathon training, I have to go down the gym. If you can do some swimming, some cycling, anything like that, now you've found this sort of new energy to get out there and get fit, you'll be surprised that after a couple of weeks, you'll really have a lot of energy and you'll want to do stuff. So use that energy positively and do some cross training, because it will strengthen you up. As I say, it'll help you with your endurance and it'll make you a better runner. Right, the next tip for you new runners is set achievable goals. And what I mean by that is don't have high expectations when you go into it. If you have low expectations, and set yourself achievable goals that you can actually tick off after, even if it's after 2 weeks. So like after 2 weeks, say to yourself, right, I want to be able to run without walking for 15 minutes. Bosh, there you go. That's a great goal to set yourself. And then set yourself some long-term targets. Like I say, if you've got yourself a running journal, you can set those targets. And the good thing is, and I can really recommend this, is try and book something like, whether it be a 10K or a 5K fun run, something like that, to see you've got a goal to head to. And you say you can get your training plan online and you can kind of follow that. But get yourself a plan and say set yourself a target and a goal, but an achievable one. And it really will make a difference and it will help your motivation. Second to last tip is to get down and do a park run. A park run is an amazing thing, right? If you've not checked out my videos on park runs, make sure you're doing it, it'll explain it all. But basically, it's a timed 5K, it's like a fun run. You've got people of all abilities. There's walkers, there's joggers, there's runners, there's people with push chairs, dogs, everything. But it's a social environment, and it really will motivate you to run. It'll help you with your development. It'll help you get out there. It'll give you, say, something to achieve every week. And yeah, it's just an amazing thing. So check out Park Runs, register, it's totally free. Find out where your nearest one is, but it's a great tip for any new runners to sign up and get down and do a park run. Right, my last tip for you is to stay positive, right? It's gonna hurt. You're gonna have weeks where you feel like you can't run. You're gonna have weeks where you feel really down and whatnot. But if you're setting yourself a goal, look, the most important thing is you've got off that sofa and you started running. So massive congratulations, because that's the hardest thing to do, right? Is to get out there and actually start doing it. But just as I say, stay positive, stay connected to your training plan, stay connected to what you're doing in your running journal, and just stay positive with your mindset. And what will happen is the more you do running and the more you get into it, the more sort of you'll feel good about it, and the more you'll want to get out there and do it. So don't rush into things, build up gradually, all that sort of stuff. But I say, just stay positive, because it's an amazing thing what you're doing. And I say, give yourself a pat on the back when you're having those down days. Just give yourself a pat on the back, and remember, you're doing something that other people aren't doing. So some people are just sitting there and they're not worrying about, getting fit, but you're actually out there, you're hitting that pavement and you're trying to get yourself into shape. So well done you, but make sure you stay positive. Right, that's it guys. They're the sort of, I don't know how many tips they were, but I think they're the sort of essential ones. If you're, to say, taking that massive step of getting out and starting running this year, so big well done for you for getting out there. But I say, I just wanted to give you a few tips, try and help you on your way when you start on this journey. I say, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There's a little pink button down there that says subscribe on it. Go to our Facebook page and join our Facebook running community, especially, I say, if you are setting out on this journey, because you'll find a lot of support, and there's people in there who will answer all your questions, and say I'm in there as well. And don't forget to check these videos out, they're pretty cool, and I'll catch you guys later.